And welcome to your favorite late night hashcast. It's Variables with your hosts Frigoli, Pedro, and Superior Buds. Tonight we have a special guest, Harry Dabs, cannabis influencer, and I believe getting into extraction himself. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X, just about anywhere that social media cannabis is allowed. And make sure you hit that thumbs up, drop some comments in the chat. We'll see them whatever platform you're watching on. And if you don't catch us live at 11 p.m. on Friday nights Eastern time, go ahead and check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Cheers, gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
We are doing fucking amazing.
Ready for some dabs over here.
Cheers, Let me give you guys a little intro of who the hell we got down here below me. Mr. fucking Harry Dabs, dude. It's been a minute since we've sat down and did some sessions, but we've definitely had some personal sessions in on each other. Influencer for a long time. He used to be a real good friend of Joe Lioli, who we'll get into that. I don't even know where the hell he's at anymore. And yeah, man, he's a fucking crazy big dabber, big smoker. Let's fucking go.
Let's get some dabs, baby.
Let's fucking go. So yeah, welcome, Cheers. Brother. I'm happy to have you on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, y'all, and look forward to chatting it up with y'all, bullshitting, and taking some dabs.
Yeah, we're gonna get fucking ripped tonight. As soon as I find a place where I don't have to talk, I'm gonna fucking take a smoker, dude.
Well, go ahead. I'm gonna let everybody know where. Oops. I just slapped something on my keyboard, but I'm going to let everybody know where I'm at tonight. I haven't drank tea in years, but these gentlemen told me to go get a cup of tea for my sore throat, and I got my little teaspoon with some honey. So I'm going to, don't worry, I'll be doing plenty of dabs too. I'm just giving him a second to set his up, and I've got the email, so I'm always ready over here.
Real quick, we're raging Pedro's new Size Love this week, dude. I'm a huge fan of Size Love, and I scooped this one this last week.
Sheesh.
So yeah,
that thing is nice.
I'm so fucking lucky to have this in my collection for sure. All right, heating up over here.
Got me a Ryan Kane right here.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I'm rocking my $60 local probably Chinese glass shop.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong. Get it done.
Harry, I've told this not this story, but I've told many people this before. I believe that glass blowing to the extent of what Pedro is holding in his hand, what you're holding in your hand, and probably what Superior's got in his hand, I think that is art. And I am not an art collector because I have a tendency to shatter my art, and it's just one of those things where it's not a good place for me to invest my money. I've learned that more than once, but I will say there's absolutely a difference in quality glass. I always appreciate it when I get to hang out with someone that does have some quality glass. But you're a terp slurper and torch kind of guy, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, I like I'm more of a quartz castle type of guy. I will bust that out here in a minute.
He's a hot dabber.
We got the terp slurper and we're ready. I'm about to heat this bitch up.
Hot dabber. What kind of temps we talking?
Oh man, I don't know if he's quite glowies, but
I like 600 and above.
Yeah, he's a hot one.
So are you just taking fat dabs, or you just like to get ripped, or what?
Both. Oh, I'll let him answer, but
yeah,
both.
I was gonna say, you got your man Pedro
the dabber scoops up.
Okay, that's fair.
I've spent a lot of times watching this fucker on his social media, so well aware of this man. And if y'all see me fucking slapping my smoke, that's because I'm being Harry this week. That's one of his fucking signatures. Number one, it's let's fucking go. I mean, he's always got to beat up his smoke for some reason. But aside from just getting ridiculously stoned, like I plan on doing because Harry's on, started processing. Oops, that was way too hot. Harry started processing recently, which kind of surprised me. I don't think I found out about this until this week, but it sounds like this week was the week.
This was the week, man. Been processing. Been working with this farm. It's a all indoor farm in Washington State. Super fire. Honestly, I can say this. I've been in probably 50, 60 farms, and this happens to be the cleanest farm I've ever been in. Like, they do not fucking play when it comes to the plants.
They organic or they?
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. This shit's fucking. Yeah, it's fucking pretty ridiculous. Let me get this temp thing set up.
Clean
Damn.
and organic, huh?
Yeah, and we were the my farm was the farm that won the contract to grow out all the cookie stuff when it first came to the state. So for the first 3 years when cookies was in Washington State, it was my farm that was the one that was running.
Were
And
you
then,
there when they picked up that contract?
I don't remember when it was, but we were the first ones to pick up the cookies contract in the state of Washington. Woo!
Let's
you got there?
fucking get
Just
it,
whatever
boy.
the dabber grabbed. Let's go.
No, you know, and I'm of the I'm not afraid to say it because it's my opinion and I'm fucking I have the right to my opinion, but I think organic flour makes better hash rosin. I'm sorry, I really do.
Why?
Good question, I guess. On it, man, you're gonna make me stab
Have you ever
people.
grown not organically?
I have not, but I have processed synthetic things before.
It wasn't you growing at your experience.
I will give you that.
Yeah,
I will give you that. I will give you that.
You know how many variables there are in growing good hash?
Yeah, dude, there's a good one, man. There's a good one. Like 1.5 million, dude. It's like
At least.
ridiculous. Yeah. Honestly, like I said, you're gonna make me stab some people in the face, but I don't mind doing that either. How do you think this plant was meant to grow? How do you think this plant has grown for fucking however long this earth has been in existence? You think they've been people pouring salts into this shit? You think you think it originated from pouring salts in it? I'm sorry.
No, well, also under the sun for 99%, 99.99999999999%.
I love me some sun-grown cannabis.
Man, I tell you, some of the things that help a cannabis grow, especially like late in flower, is stress. So if you've got that extra UV and you've got particularly cold fucking temperatures, like my flower outside this year, because we had a little bit of an early winter, my flower froze like 3 or 4 times. My greenhouse was fucking like 35 degrees when I went out there. It was like, well, you guys know it looks like you haven't watered for 6 days, it's just those plants look horrible, but man, dude, it made some beautiful hash,
Fuck
beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, me with sun-grown. What's that?
What strains?
Of course, Critical Kush. I always put Critical Kush outside.
It's funny. I think I've smoked that from you 2 or 3 times in vanilla Kush or vanilla.
Yeah,
something?
I had a vanilla Kush. Yep. Actually, I got some vanilla Kush in the refrigerator right now. It's I process for another gentleman,
nice.
Westlow Collective, shout out, and doing some really good fucking genetics. Look at that drops. Well, yeah. So I grew outdoor this year. I grew Primal Punch, which is the one that showed you with the terp pools.
Yep.
I grew Papaya, Critical Kush, Tallyman, and I don't remember the last one.
Tallyman's really good.
Was it Trop C or was that from somewhere else?
What's that?
Was it a Trop C or was that from somewhere else?
Trop C was from somewhere else.
Okay.
I can't recall the other. Maybe that was it because I grew 2 Critical Kushes. Anyways, that's a selection.
Fire.
That's a selection. But man, Eden, they've got. They're still going through some pheno hunts, so we're doing test washes and shit, on different stuff. Which, God damn, some labor. But they've got a hell of a selection of genetics, dude. It's fun. It's fun, and they're starting to cross them. So we already know that we've got 2 washers, and we're crossing 2 washers, which is just producing really for instance, the Chile Verde that I have right here. I'm not a genetics guy, so I don't exactly know, but the terps are, I always say they're complex. Like I can't explain it. I can't put my finger on the terp, on the profile. Not like a Trop C where you can be like, damn, that's oranges,
According to infamously reliable Leafly, Chile Verde is an indica dominant hybrid weed strain made from a genetic cross between key lime pie and lavender.
All right. Good deal. Now I know, and I won't remember, but now I know.
Dominant terpene of the strain is caryophyllene.
Everybody's got their specialties, right? They know what they know. So some people are really good at growing. Some people are really good at processing. You know, some people are really good at fucking cloning or breeding, you know. So
or marketing. There's a lot of that too.
Oh, dude, the marketing thing, you know, like you and Budsy over here when we were talking about the marketing and and making the emblem or the whatever. You can see that I'm not that guy. So yeah. So what else we got over there, Harry? What else are you doing? Anything crazy besides Pedro needs you to load up another fucking ripper?
Yeah, going to eco class tomorrow. Fucking got a long drive for that. Got a bunch of stuff going on.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from. You said it sounds like you're in Washington State right now. Is that where you grew up? Tell me how you got your start in cannabis. Did you just love weed like a lot of us did? We were, teenagers, whatever, and all of a sudden it became legal, and we're like, all right, let's do this thing.
Yeah, no, a little bit about me, man. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State. Been smoking. First time I ever smoked weed, I was like 9 years old. Smoked 2 blunts with my cousins.
No shit.
Pretty funny story. I'll tell it real quick. We went and did some work for some guy. We picked up all his dog poop in the yard, mowed his lawn. He gave us $50. We bought an eighth, rolled it up. I was high as fuck. So 9 years old in Portland, Oregon, smoking weed. Ever since then, it's just always been in my family, you know what I mean? Been growing since I was like 19, 18. Processing BHO ever since it was ever fucking a thing since like 2011. You know, going to mountains in Cali, you know, the same old shit most people do. And then influencer-wise, social media-wise, I was always just a follower of Custom Grow 420. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He has like the biggest cannabis YouTube channel with almost 2 million followers. I used to watch his videos because I would type in how to purge oil. So his shit came up, you know, and then one day he was like, I got this oil from Rainier Express. And I'm like, that's a dispensary in my own town. So anyways, at the time, he only had like 40,000 followers. This was like 2015.
Is this pre 100,000? Because I remember him hitting 100,000 subscribers, and that was like the first cannabis person to do that.
So he has like almost 2 million now, like 1.8 million. Damn. But back then he had like 70,000 or 40,000.
Okay.
And I hit him up. I'm like, hey man, I got some oil. I want to gift it to you. I'm in the same town. So I ended up meeting up with him, and then he bought all the oil I had. He ended up buying like 50 grams from me. And then, so that was dope. And then, so I knew him about a year. A year later, he hits me up. Look, I did a gram dab video on his fucking YouTube. It's his most viewed video. Millions and millions of views. And ever since then, I've just been, you know, doing the Instagram shit and the YouTube shit since about 2015, 16.
Okay, so tell me, how many followers do you have on Instagram and YouTube?
On my Instagram and YouTube, my YouTube's got about 30,000. My Instagram's got about 160.
Okay, so you definitely get recognized in public, right?
What's that?
You definitely get recognized in public, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Most of my shit is known from YouTube. Like we have a bunch of OG videos that got millions of views.
Right.
A lot of the people who are like in their 30s now were watching us 2015. Right. You know, so we're like kind of like the OGs of the influencers. Anyone to watch on the YouTube, it was us. It was like we were the first couple motherfuckers doing it.
Dude, I remember the reason I bring that up is because I don't know at what point in his Custom Grow 420 Jolie. I don't know at what point in his career it was, but I remember him going live at some event. I don't know what event it was, but some cannabis event, maybe a cup or something like that. West Coast.
Oh, probably Seattle Hemp Fest.
Maybe. And him just walking down the sidewalk through this event, and person after person was like, Joy, Custom Grow 420, just hollering at him. You'll just go live saying, and it was like, it was this moment in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, like cannabis is mainstream, you know, and it's like, it's there now. And
it's made it.
Yeah, man. Yep. And that was a long time. That was a decade probably ago, you know.
That video, there's a video actually of that. It's if you can look it up. It's Hemp Fest was on Custom Grow's channel. And I will say this, man. I've been around a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of celebrities and people, bro. Like that dude, Custom Grow, he pulls people like he's fucking Tom Brady walking around. I'm talking thousands of people will come up to him like he's like Tommy Chong, back, he's like the new Tommy Chong type shit. Like it's pretty wild, like super wild.
So, what was there a moment for you, like in public, that where it kind of hits you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I mean in public, yeah, obviously, but when it hit me, when I knew people wanted to fuck with me, he said on his video, he's like, if you want Harry Dabs back, let me know. His comment had his YouTube had 5,000 comments with my name on it. Just
Oh shit.
it's still up there today, right now. So like right then and there, like my Instagram went from 0 to thousands in like hours. So yeah, that's when I was like, damn, this is pretty fucking dope.
And you
Because I've
do
already
it.
was making oil. I've been making oil for years before that. I've been growing. So it almost came custom. It was just like organic,
Custom girl. You've been, and you do go to a lot of events, right? I mean, you and I have met up at a couple different events.
Yeah, I go to a lot of East Coast Boston events, most of the Vegas stuff. I can't say I've been to Cali in a couple years, but I used to go to all the Kush Talks, the Blazers Cup, Chalice. Yeah, I go to a lot of them. Try to show my face on each side of the state or the country. I mean,
hey, what about out in the middle? There's Michigan here. We got one of the biggest scenes. One of the biggest markets.
I want to come to Michigan. You guys got fire rosin up there.
Everybody's starting. It's interesting, me as I stroke my gray beard. It's interesting and awesome seeing these. And man, I'm not trying to. I'm 40, almost 45 years old. So when I say kids, I mean like the 20, 25, whatever range. They're kicking some fucking ass, dude. Like it's awesome to see how many people are producing really good hash and hash rosin.
Yeah, hash. I'd say the great extractors are coming out of the woodworks right now. There's a bunch of people dropping some crazy good stuff.
And you got Fergroli over here who's kicking the scene and kicking their ass with terps, man. Just like, bro.
But what is creating these, or what's forcing them out of the woodworks? Because one of the way you say that makes me think of that quote.
I would say people just want to join the hype, man, and I don't want to say this knocking any type of thing, but
I know, right?
It's a lot easier to make fire rosin than it is fire BHO.
Okay, I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm out. You guys take the show. Thank you.
I'm just
dude. I tell you what.
Yes.
I tell you what. When I see one of those fucking setups, I'm like, this takes somebody way fucking smarter than me. I'll blow some shit up.
It comes down to that. Like, dude, running them a BHO machine on a mass scale is just holy shit.
Oh, I'll give it to you there. I'll absolutely.
But hand washing and stuff, you know what I mean? It's like,
to me,
I can teach that to someone in one day almost. You know what I mean? Like on a scale, but a BHO machine, never. I would never tell someone a knowledge in one day and then let them go. That's like a bomb, a nuke.
I'd rather leave the balls off than blow them off.
Yeah, true.
The problem with bringing somebody new, and believe me, I've seen this fucking half dozen times probably in the last 2.5 years or so. Bringing new people into a hash room, you can teach them to do things in a couple of days, but if you leave them alone after those first couple of days, it's not. So I would say that kind of like the glass, right? You're not good until you're good, There's a big learning curve. My God, go back and look at my fucking posts when I was shaking hash in the fucking in the other room.
Hold on though. You're talking about learning curve, and part of my question is one question I have is how many 8-hour shifts would it take to actually train someone that you, Pedro, would trust to run, the next batch of hash? And then, well, let's start with that.
2 weeks to a month in the room with me.
Okay. And then
that's for me to be like, all right, go and do this.
Does that include pressing?
But I'm still no, that's washing pretty much. And then I'm like, go ahead and do this, but I'm still gonna check on you frequently. And then I press the rosin, so I can see the work. I know when I can run back down and be like, yo,
So the turnover rate at Pedro's facility is probably 2 to 4 weeks. But my other question, is, and this is kind of for everybody on this panel, even you, chat. What do you guys think about this? Does being a good hash maker require being a good grower?
Can I step in?
Or at least having experience growing? Yes, please. This is for everybody.
So no, being a good hash maker, I do not believe necessarily has an impact. You don't have to be a good grower to be a good hash maker.
Okay.
Because there, as I was saying before, there's a lot of people who are really good at what they do, So sometimes I would almost rather, especially now after being in hash and rosin more and more and more, like it's consuming more of my time. You see it in my garden big time. Like it's unfortunate, but you just exactly Spartan. You just need to know some new, and that was where I was getting at is I'm starting to lose the touch of the growing, especially the organic side, because there's fucking so many variables there. So I would almost prefer to wash a good grower's crop.
Fuck yeah, and do splits.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the other caveat and potentially variable, I guess, is some people will come into the room just because they need a job, right? And there's levels to this shit. So there's people who will just dab.
Start packaging, maybe.
People that'll dab with a dab straw, or a nectar collector or so. And then they step up to maybe an e-nail or whatever. And then they step up to spending fucking thousands of dollars and whatnot, So I want to make sure that the person either in my press room or in my hash room, the garden is somebody else's issue. I run the production of the processing. But who's ever in there, if you don't, the last guy that we hired, I was like, how much do you dab? Do you have rigs? What's your interest? Essentially what I'm trying to find out is how much do you love this? Because if you don't love this, just go do something else that you're better at.
He just 360 that rig.
Dude, he does. He'll do it probably right here for you. He'll take his fucking blazer and he fucking lights it and he flips. I can't even do it without it because I hit myself in the face.
West.
I've done it before, dude. No.
Oh, wow,
nice. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'd burn my house down.
I think
Dean wood behind you.
I think Dean and fucking TSV or what are they? The Turks they would probably call some shit on that. No, so yeah, he's crazy. I told you guys when I wanted to have him on, I wanted to have a little bit of a break from the seriousness.
I love it, dude. I love it.
I'm not flipping mine.
No,
you don't have to. But you do got to heat it up, though.
I'm about ready to. I just thrown another banger right now.
So Pedro brings up a good point, when it comes to actually giving someone a job in an area, how much experience do they have? And that was kind of the other part of the question. And I want to throw it to Superior Buds and Harry too. Do you got to be a grower or at least have experience growing, or a good grower, I should say?
Yeah, I agree with Pedro. If you want to be one or the other, that's fine. Just focus on what you love, be the best at what you're going to spend the time at. It's tough being great at two things.
There are some people who are though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
my opinion is just what I've seen with my own eyes is no, you don't have to be a grower to be any extractor at that point. And most of the good extractors I know aren't growers, to be honest. The ones that are real deal, like fucking crazy full-time extractors, they're just extractors. They're not like in the plants, They might have a little home crop. Most people do anyways. Right. But they're not running the big scale shit. It's
no, you remember even talking when we were talking with Rackham's, the fucking who I consider one of the best artists out there.
Most pilots don't build the planes, you know what I mean?
He
Right.
doesn't
fly
grow.
those motherfuckers.
His wife does the growing. You know, she's good at what she does. He's good at what he does. So she grows, he processes.
And growing's full fucking time. Processing's full time.
And that's the
There's
challenge,
just not
right?
enough days in hours in the day to be an elite at both of them, really.
Especially at a commercial level, I think you
Yeah.
can do it at, as a caregiver or maybe at a home grow level. I think Superior Buds certainly is on that level. I think actually probably everyone on this panel is on that level, but I think for
manageable.
well, yes, and I think it sounds like it was all a natural progression for us. Like we started growing, maybe we started smoking, and then we started growing, and then we started processing.
Right.
And so that's why I think that helps, right? Having that experience, and it does seem like a natural progression. I'm not saying you need to be a good grower while you're actively being a good processor or a great processor, but I think it does help to understand the plant from 100%. That level.
Yeah,
it builds that love.
Yeah,
that I was talking
for
about.
Sure.
It builds that love. And again, there's levels. You can stop at whatever level that you want to stop at. But
what's after processing then, right?
Who knows?
Fucking
right? We're already starting to separate things down into the CBGs and CBD,
after processing,
like isolating things. So who knows what they're gonna fucking do? I almost think we're there because I'm a big fan of full spectrum, so I like the 73 159 generally.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I used to do the 45 in there, but it was so I bet kind of more of a big advocate of the full spectrum. And man, how much more fucking
and that's still considered full spectrum.
What's that?
That's considered full spectrum, 73 to 159.
We could get into variables here.
Because I don't know. That's why I'm just asking.
Yes, so
I would think full spectrum would be with the 45 and 160. That's like everything.
Yeah. So if you're gonna go truly full spectrum, you're gonna collect even the 25, up to probably the 160, and depending on where it's grown and if it's outdoor and variables, it can have really big heads, and you could potentially catch it in the 190 as well. So I mean, if you really want to get full spectrum and aren't really worried about the hype of having really juicy wet rosin and just super terpy and that golden thing that everybody's after right now, then man, you can have some really good fucking rosin. It might be a little throatier depending on variables, but
I like
but
that.
Is there going to be more post processing that comes up that we learn how to do that we're not even thinking of right now that allows 100%. Us to refine it further? I mean, look at the BHO systems and how complex they've gotten and getting it down. Well, maybe we're missing 2-3 more steps that don't exist yet.
Yeah, what's the next fucking big thing?
Slap another column on there. It's not CRC,
right?
It's DPG.
And see, that's what I'm talking about with these newer.
You guys know rosin CRC?
Oh, really? Tell us more.
Do you guys know who her name's fucking Brittany Murphy? She's like a big extractor.
Yeah.
That lady. She got in my DMs and told me, she gave me all examples too. She said CRC in rosin is the micron bag. And then she showed me that the hash before is dark, putting it into the rosin bag, and then being pressed, the hash comes out white. And she gave me this fucking 56 paragraph about how rosin is CRC and the bag makes it CRC, some crazy shit.
I'm curious to understand that further because it seems like you could just be.
Can I go to my Instagram and look? Will it kick me out?
Good question.
Because I can look at those messages and read what she was saying.
Try it, dude. Because that seems like it could be important. If if it kicks you out, just come right back on it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just can't see you.
All right, let me go to my Instagram. Bam.
Man, to me, just to rebuttal real quick, man. CRC, I mean, it's color remediation, but I'll tell you what, I have not pressed, and I'd like to see if somebody wants to show me. I've not pressed much, if any, dark hash and got golden rosin ever. And I bet you putting my stamp on it, but I would almost guarantee that Rackhams would say the same thing.
Look, can I put photos in the chat?
I don't know if the phones are that fucking crazy now.
Yeah. I know you
I
can
didn't know
screen
if that's
share
like
from a
something
PC,
you guys,
but
you could do on the live or something.
So like from your Instagram, I can pull up your Instagram if that's what you're saying.
No,
there,
it wouldn't be on
yeah.
my Instagram. It was just ones I just screenshotted where she's explaining it. This is what she
Oh, I
says.
got you.
She says you can see the color remediation on the hash before squish versus after. The bag blowout being the before, and then it shows a rosin bag with a blowout, gold oil all around it, and then you see the rosin that comes out. It's dark, not dark, but
Okay.
hash color, brown, brownish.
I don't want to blow anybody up, but who the fuck is this?
Oh,
So that
go check her out. She does a
Oh,
lot
this
of great
lady,
public
bro, she is
experience.
more certified, bro.
Any of us.
She is an extraction,
All of us together,
education,
probably.
and process. She's a fucking
the
someone who
minute
I wouldn't say she's wrong. And then she
Yeah.
just says the bag blowout being the before. See, CRC is just removing heavily pigmented refractive compounds, and rosin definitely does that. And then she just gives me fucking
Mimi,
a bunch
got you.
more
I know who Mimi is.
explanations.
I'm very aware of Mimi. If any hash processor, extractor, whatever the fuck you want to call this processor, if you've ever had golden hash in a bag or golden hash on the tray, excuse me, you got golden hash straight out the freeze dryer, right? Golden. You put it in the bag. You put it between your hands for 10 seconds and it greases the fuck up and changes color in your hand.
Yeah, see, I just sent you a picture
So
on Instagram.
that is just the start of the melting and the decarboxylation of fucking of the rosin coming out right there.
Let's go.
So I Mimi and I have had it before as well, but I would completely disagree with her there.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I just was like,
yeah, Mimi and I.
My idea was this: if anything, the color of those heads, the color inside the heads, are still gold. CRC, it's not like that. It's dark ass oil that they're trapping all the darkness and making the oil white. The oil inside the heads are white. They're just inside the heads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I love phones that do that. Give us another
too?
thumbs up. Yeah, no, it's if you're on your phone. It's like that iPhone.
Pedro, I don't know if you can see those two photos I just sent you on Instagram.
You can probably screen share them if
you don't have to look now, but that's what she was referencing. What she was talking about.
Oh, the blowout.
Yeah.
I did not just drop my quartz banger. Yeah, no, I've had blowouts before too, and I know exactly what she's talking about. Yes, it is dark.
It just sounded like some super fancy way to shut me up.
Yeah, but it came from blonde ass hash. So how are we turning? We're turning blonde ass hash into blonde ass rosin. How is that color remediation?
Yeah.
So here's what I would say is the only really input I have. I have like two thoughts on this, and the only input I have based on experiences that I have ran used rosin bags through my closed loop system.
Okay.
And the oil I got out on the other side, while very, very voluminous, was certainly much darker than the rosin that would have come out of that bag. That being said, there is, I would assume, some level of maybe decarb process that's happening there because you are heating it up, right?
Yeah.
So that will, change its color. And while these bags were thrown in a Ziploc and thrown in the freezer, any oxidation, any aging, it's going to make that color change.
Was it much dark though? Was it or was it still decent color?
It's what I consider food grade.
So, in this,
food
this
grade
is
for BHO.
For my BHO.
Yeah, that's tight.
This let's flip it over. Obviously, I'm a fucking rosin processor, hash and rosin. This is why you need to spend the time with me in the fucking room, because there's so many different little factors where if you turn left where you're supposed to turn right there, you've done fucked it all up.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and then that's where the experience comes in. I've said this over and over again. That's where the experience comes in, is when shit goes fucking wrong. What do you do? Should I leave now too? Harry's got me freaking ripped over here. I will say
I'm ready
that.
for another dab.
I'm cleaning my
interested in
bangers.
homie's fucking BHO over here.
I've got some of that back here, but I'm scared of it, dude. It'll have me coughing worse than I am right now.
Yeah, well, this is maybe what you need next time. Just the diamonds, remove all the terps. That's just like the bottom of the barrel.
So,
some that's
Is
left.
it CRC?
No. I don't have any CRC equipment. I've ran commercial
Don't
equipment
lie
that
to me,
had
son.
CRC columns, and I bypassed CRC. I refuse to use CRC.
I'm
anti
CRC.
Yeah, I think we were all on board about not being able to polish a turd until CRC came along. I think the CRC in part has done a lot to ruin a reputation of BHO along with those commercial processors that are running them.
Let me get some of my BHO.
Yeah, I could go on.
We got a little crack in the house.
My butt crack, baby.
That was a little extra special.
Don't get fat, guys. I'm telling you, it's not cool.
This is YouTube and stuff. I don't think we're streaming over there. I don't think we're streaming on what.
Looks great.
Yes, this is some batter.
Are you strictly batter? Do you do sauces? Like, what do you guys do shatter anymore? Is that a thing out there anymore?
I'll be honest. Right now, I'm just running the batter. I'm having it ran batter. Diamonds are cool. Sauce is cool, but looks like a lot of people like this is recreational stuff in Washington State. Like this is on the market, and you take this to a lot of people, and they think it's rosin. Like this batter is fire. This is the same exact material I use for this fucking indoor rosin. It's all indoor. So it's the exact 100% same materials going into my rosin is going into my BHO. You know what I mean? It's fucking the fire. So people a lot of people think this shit's rosin. They're like, oh, and then I tell them, that's actually our BHO.
That one there of all of the ones. That's why I sat back for a minute.
This gas face is wild.
That
man.
one
right
there of all of them looks more like rosin than any of them. All of the other ones, I'd be able to tell you right away were BHO or whatever the fuck the tri-blend, blah, blah, blah.
That gas face is fucking like smelling it hurts. It's so strong.
And I think
those are the ones like in a fucking terp slurper. That shit hurt. It's like crazy on your lungs because the terps are like 13% or something.
Yep.
It's like over 10%. I can't remember what it was.
Just always seen a lot of BHO come out with that orangish color,
coldness,
and that is such
all
a
about
turn
the temperature.
That is such a turn off to me.
No, I love it. Because that's what it really is. That's what it really looks like.
The variable. There's a variable there.
Well, Harry, tell me about your process. Tell me about your closed loop process. How you running this?
We open source steel. Are you familiar with them?
I used to watch his videos too back in the day.
And we just get it as cold as you possibly can with dry ice. You know what I mean? We fill the dry ice columns. We fucking sink our tanks, cover them in dry ice. That's all about temperature, man. Like, let's just say you're at negative fucking 40. If you can get to negative 45, the color, just even a couple degrees is color changing and terp changing on your BHO. Like, shades of color comes with super low temperatures.
100%, man.
Okay.
What size unit did you say
you were running?
What size unit did you say you were running?
What you running? What kind of machine?
Can you guys hear me?
No, we were asking. Harry's asking you a question.
No, I know. I just thought I missed it. Harry, what size unit are you running?
Did it mute on me?
No, I just saw the. I'm not. I took that sexually.
So I'm running.
For me.
Oh yeah, he can't hear us. That's why.
I wonder why.
Hello.
You can't hear us? It's because you're touching so many goddamn buttons over there.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Maybe if you leave and come back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Well, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear anyone. I swear.
Gee, that's not.
I got a phone call and I just ended the phone call.
You might have to leave and come back. I know you can't hear me.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
It's just fun saying it over and over again.
Should we just remove?
Can you just kick him?
There we go.
Just kick.
Oh, he can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just had to leave and come back.
Yo,
Okay.
we were about to kick your ass off the fucking live stream.
Yeah, I'm like, what's up with this guy? He's not talking.
You got me fucking this me?
No, my
He's-
finger is
he's
this
playing.
guy.
All right. I'm like, I can't.
So real quick, I think I missed it. I maybe you didn't say, but before I answer your question, what size unit are you running of open source steel? Like how many volume wise?
We are running the 16-inch.
Like pound, like how many pounds system is it? I guess.
My homie runs it. He's the one that runs the whole fucking thing.
Okay.
I have an open source machine upstairs too. I'll go show you that shit right now.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
believe-
the 16-inch one. It's on a rack. You know, it's got 4 columns.
okay.
It's fucking. You'd have to ask his ass.
I got you. Okay. No, I pretty much run by the same ideology, man.
Okay.
From my experience, you know, the colder the better. It might make things run a little bit slower, might get a little less volume, but like
Yep.
if all we're going for is quality, you just got to get that thing super cold.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, you got to get the solvent cold, you got to get the materials column cold, you got to keep it cold the whole time, and you got, you know, slow and slow recovery if you can, unless you got the you know, big boy equipment.
Are you passive, non-passive?
I'm all passive.
Yep.
So hot water baths with the sous vide, dry ice, you know, everything else. I'm running about 1,600 grams of fresh frozen at a time, give or take. So
Yep.
pretty small batches.
Yeah, that is small batch.
Yeah, and it just you know, it works great.
Yeah.
I'd love to scale up, but
the columns, are they jacketed? The
Yep.
tubes?
well, they're open jacketed. Yeah, so I do
yep.
dry ice the column as well. Yes.
Yep.
And I use pellets.
What we
I've tried the high density or the rice. You know,
I've tried the rice too.
I've used denatured alcohol. I just stick with the pellets. But like you're saying, just freeze that solvent too.
Same here. And then people like to put isopropyl on it to make it colder, all that dumb shit.
Do you do a soak time, or do you just let it run?
We don't. No, we do not soak. We just pass it 3 times.
Okay.
So say it's like takes 8 pounds to fill the column.
Yeah.
You know,
24 pounds total.
Yeah, just run it. So.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty similar to what I do, actually.
Yeah.
Usually it's about 3 times, but I'm using a ball valve, so I am doing a soak generally.
Okay.
And the reason I can do that is because I just keep the dry ice topped off. I keep my solvent chilled, you know, and as long as those temps are maintained, you can give it a soak. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But that's what I've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
No more than 20 minutes, but.
Yeah, we used to soak back in the day. We used to flood from the bottom, you know. All
yeah, bi-directional, all that stuff.
Crazy shit. Now it's just dump it, cold as fuck. Cover that shit, bro. Purge it, whip it, purge it, whip it, purge it, whip it, sell it to the streets.
Yep.
That's just how it goes.
I feel you.
At the end of the day, it's all at the material anyways. No one's trying to do magic tricks. No one's just just putting out exactly what the weed is.
Dude, and I tell people that all the time. Like, my process does not change. What you bring me is what changes. Like, I can show you what my single source looks like, but I can't guarantee yours is going to look like that, because I don't, like, there's so many variables, like we're talking about. Like, I have no idea what happened. Maybe I don't have any idea what happened in that grow, you know.
We'll do multiple runs in one day, and we'll yours came out like this and all the other ones came out like this. It's just because yours is what yours is.
Yep.
And this is what this is. So.
Fire in, fire out, unless you want me polishing that turd, which that just ain't my game, you know.
Yeah,
so.
no, send that to the CRC boys.
Right.
Dude, I tried
we have pounds of oil packaged for 800. Let me know.
Harry Dabs, I just looked at this on Tuesday. We have over or almost 850,000 pounds of fresh frozen at growers and processors as of October 31st in Michigan. Just in Michigan, 850,000 pounds. And at 3%, that's over, I think, about 10 million grams of extract.
Damn, bro, y'all are some real smokers over there.
I don't know what the hell they're doing with all, but
that's crazy.
The amount of concentrate on hand is insane too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just waiting to go.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully they don't have no power outages. Oh yeah, I have a question to Pedro or anyone who runs fucking machine or my fucking freeze dryer today. When we went in, we did a run yesterday. We came in this morning and it said power outage. And then when we shut it down, whatever, let all the air out. The trays were hot as fuck.
The
It was
trays
ice.
were hot.
Yeah, it was iced all the way around, but the trays were hot as fuck.
That just hurts me to hear that, dude.
Yeah.
'cause
I
been
will
there,
say
done
Times the
this,
heater
though.
relay sticks.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
will say this. The hash looked fine. It was warm. And we just ran it through another cycle. I'm going to have to check it tomorrow, but it looked like it wasn't ruined. So
what are you putting your tray temp at originally?
35.
Okay, perfect. We've got all of our freeze dryers on backup batteries at work. Because they do, it happens. There's surges, they pull a lot of fucking power depending on which size you have, so we've got them all on battery backups. We actually just had a surge today. What time was it? About noon. We had a little bit of surge, and I'm texting everybody, check the freeze dryers, check the mini splits, check the freezers, just making sure everything's done up there, working from home. But yeah, man.
So that was a little something I ran into today, but it looked like the shit was fine, so I wasn't even upset.
It depends on how warm it got and whatnot. The problem is if there was still a vacuum,
it was still
temperatures, it boils at a much lower temperature.
Yeah,
So.
And I can almost guarantee you decarb that rosin. I would just throw it, make it food grade, man. You got hash edibles, bro. Like,
I would press it.
They don't even give a fuck. Like the dude at work, like my owner of the farm, that's my boss. Like, we're fucking 50-50. He fucking's like, bro, we put it in our joints. Don't even get he didn't even.
There you
go.
Yeah. I would.
I thought he was gonna be pissed, but it's just like he didn't even give a fuck.
I would press it
I got from Sluggers right here.
Color remediated
edibles from Thailand.
Okay.
These are pretty big.
What are those?
Sluggers in here. Whoops. You guys know about Sluggers?
I feel like we're about to find out.
Oh, these are like the #1 joints in all of America, bro. Like, I kid you not, you will not find a fucking bigger joint company in all of America.
This very much reminds me of baseball cards, what you have in your hand right now.
Just wait, big dog.
Is there some bubble gum in there? Tell me there's some bubble gum in there.
This is the bubble bath. Where's the fucking... Whoops. So here's the packaging. Come on, Bubba. Little container.
Whoops. Hello.
Little safety right here. Open it up. Like you said, each one has their own little card. It says on it, it's got the weed on the front, the picture of the weed, whatever the strain is. It will have a little fucking emoji, and it says, tastes like mint chip soap, feels like your first scrub in the tub, pair it with an ice cold pop. This is a little joke shit. And then it has 5 joints in here. They've got rosin in them, keef in them, diamonds in them, and weed.
It makes me giggle every time he says weed.
Sluggers. And they got blunts and a bunch of shit too. Nice. This is that influencer side of me showing. My bad.
Right? No, I like it, dude.
Yeah. So Harry, answer me this. I don't know if we're changing subjects or not.
No, do your thing.
I'm so ripped and I don't even know. What made you jump the fence and go with hash and rosin?
It's just more of like hype, bro. Like I'm not trying to be rude or crude or get jumped tomorrow at the ego clash because I said this, but it's like rosin has the hype for it. It really does. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that BHO is really, really good. And all of the super fire material people are putting into rosin used to be in the BHO. Like BHO used to be super terpy. Fuck, it was amazing. It took a hit. CRC came. Motherfuckers got scared, and there's still people scared of the butane and all that shit. We're able to clean it way more fucking easier than we were back then. You know what I mean? Like, butane is easy to get out not like it was years ago. So that being said, people are asking for rosin more. The stores in Washington State are saying, like, you know, you have BHO, but do you have solventless? A lot of the bud tenders are like hype people, you know. You get into their head, you give them a lanyard and a fucking t-shirt, bro, and tell them something, and they're fucking, you know, like the bud tenders here in Washington State, bro. Like, I got a lot of love for them, but
Shots
my
fired.
God, they do not know a lot of shit about concentrates. Like, it's wild to me.
The price discrepancy between solventless and BHO, it's probably the biggest here.
Yeah, yep,
still.
yeah. It's half for us here. It'll like my Fire Live resin will be $30 at the store, and then the rosin $60. You know, it's just
right.
Do you think on the processor side that that rosin should be valued at double what BHO is valued at, all things equal?
It's hard for me to say because I'm also a consumer, bro. I love
Right.
going to the store and buying shit, and I hate getting taxed, and because I can fucking buy fire ass rosin, bro, indoor for $40, but the same company over here or another company over here doesn't have as good of rosin, but theirs is 60, 70.
Here's a
And
good.
it's like, you know, that being said, rosin, it's just fucking, you know, easier to sell. The fucking
Is it literally
people
just
ask
hype right
for
now?
it more. People like it more. It has a hype, so people are going to go with rosin a lot more than BHO.
So if you start with, let's just arbitrarily say 10,000 grams fresh frozen, both sides, what is the end result? Like, does one have more quantity at the end of the game? Because that could play a big factor.
Yeah, I'm not the best at fucking.
I don't know that answer.
Well,
Pedro, what's your typical
I knew you were
median
going to ask me
return?
that. You son
What's
of a
your
bitch.
median return from
see how
fresh
high I
frozen to?
am?
I would do the math. I'll do the math
a
for
lot
you.
of mine sucked. Like,
I got you.
I do know we just ran 15,000 grams. I know the BHO side, Zealousy, we ran 15,000 grams of Zealousy BHO, and we got back 432 grams. I think it was fucking like 4.5% or some shit.
It's
I can look
2.8%. 432 grams. That's 2.8%.
No, hold on. Let me look real quick.
So
it was 832.
If I start with 10,000 grams at a 5% return fresh frozen, if my numbers are right, because I am high as, like I said, times an 82% return, it feels like this is not right, but it says 410. I feel like the 5% was, no, 5% should be the wash.
Math checks out, and if we do 410 divided by 10,000, that's 4.1%.
Yeah,
which is
there we are.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, I would say my median is 4%. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
so the BHO we just ran right here, we used 15,416 grams, and we got back 698 grams of oil.
We're right there. We're right in the game.
Which was 4.51%. You know.
And of course, there's variables. You know, each one. If it's a 5.5 washer, if it's a 4.5 washer,
and I don't know how people do the yield on the fucking rosin. Is it the sand? Is it the rosin?
What?
What percentage is it? Are you talking? Is like, how do people do the percentage?
It should be to the jar. It should be packaged jar, because I think you got to consider there's probably a 5 to 10% loss when it comes to packaging things. So I don't, you know what I mean? Maybe your packaging team sucks, or they just give everybody
like when
loaded
someone
jars.
Says, I got when Pedro runs 10,000 grams, is he getting 400 grams of sand?
Rosin.
400 grams of rosin.
Rosin, yeah.
Okay.
Rosin. Because it was 5% to sand, then
80, I get 2%, which is kind of on the lowish side.
Yeah.
You know, usually I get about 87, 85, 87%, depending on how clean variables.
Well, and we can both, I'm sure, manually increase or decrease those numbers, right? Like, Harry, you know that if we just run that closed loop system without any dry ice, without chilling the solvent, we're gonna get double that yield. You know, it's gonna have all the chlorophyll, fats, lipids. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would assume the same thing with rosin. If you just do it at a hotter press, or maybe you take a wider range, you know what I mean, and then press it of bags.
Yeah, thickness, pressure, time of pressure, temperature, you know, can all come into play. Then there's more than that, you know. So yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna dab some of this fucking BHO, and here's this. Listen, I'm setting up an event, a competition. It's called BH Olympics. You know what I mean? So I'm setting it up in Washington State. It's a little early, but the deal is you're able to enter your BHO, but I want it to be something that's already on the market. You know what I mean? Something people can go in the stores and get, not something that you just grew fucking 5 plants of some exotic shit that you only have 100 grams that you're going to enter. No, fuck that. I want it to be something that people can go get at the stores. You know what I mean? So it's an event I'm trying to set up right now. It's in the really early stages, and it's called BH Olympics. Let's go.
Instagram, YouTube, website, where can we find it just to follow, you know, stay up
it's
with
going to be an actual fucking event in Washington State. This is like, you're probably...
So just follow your page.
Yeah, follow Harry Dabs, you know what I mean? But it's going to be an event in Washington State where we're going to give people time to go to the stores, get the oil, and then we're going to have a date where people come through and fucking smoke and party and fucking do the damn thing. But look forward to the BH Olympics, y'all.
I love it. I love more events like that.
Great name.
Especially if it's especially if it's targeting BHO.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely a catchy name for sure.
If you have rosin, you're not welcome. I'm just kidding.
Man, I ran out of bangers over here. I'm having a hard time keeping up with myself, keeping these bangers clean. I think I'm one ahead of you, Harry, so you better catch the fuck up. I might be wrong, but damn it, I was giving him shit.
Oh no.
Right in the middle of me, giving him shit. There he is.
I'm back.
I was saying that I think you're one behind me, so you better hurry the fuck up. I might be wrong, but I think. I'm just gonna say it. Hurry.
I've done 3 dabs so far.
I can't count that high.
So. That looks like some terps.
That is so that is terp sauce terps. Man, there's you can get it cleaner. And you know that, but there's some tech that Low Temp has put out there I haven't watched it and I'm not as smart as they are all the time. They break it down into a clear, it's not a distillate, it's a clear, it's just terpenes, you know, and it's a clear extract of, and they get it from the ice. I guess I should have said this first of all. They get it from the ice from the inside of the freeze dryer. When it drains, they collect the water and then they isolate it down into just.
That's wild.
Low Temp's got a whole video on how to do it.
Most extra shit, I swear.
See, there we are again. That sounded really weird, but what's next?
Yeah,
you know, and that's a big next right there is if you can. So now we can isolate terpenes, right? And now we have a jar of terpenes, and now we can apply that to diamonds. We can apply that to a different rosin if we want to increase the terpenes or to enhance or you know
combo.
Then now we're talking to more variables.
Let's go.
What happens sometimes? Next? Sometimes variables happen on this channel. It seems like that's a theme
everywhere.
You guys been seeing this shit? Don't be hating.
What was that?
The snowballs?
Oh.
Oh no!
Look like some puppy chow for a second.
You're looking like Wheaties or something. Not weed.
Oh, okay. Like a moon rock.
Oh shit.
Yes,
Oh,
this is the
shit.
new. It's not new, but it's blowing up again. This is super fire weed. The weed is fucking grade A. I'll say that. And then it's soaked in distillate, covered in CBD isolate.
That scares me. Now
Yeah,
you want to.
Wow.
Now I mean, so obviously you're getting. It's like eating more vitamins, you know, because
yeah.
there's
And the dude just says the CBD's more for just aesthetics, to make it look sick as fuck, but it is. I will say
Raises
the
the price
weed
by
is
$5.
fire.
But obviously different plants
Program.
produce a different amount of CBD,
Yeah.
so adding that to a plant of choice, could be very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely beneficial.
I mean, and more than just on a this is cool kind of that level, like this could be
Right.
very beneficial. And even, we know that inhaling, fucks us up, right? But what if there's more benefits to mixing these isolates and potentially, taking them orally, or
There's got to be benefits to, and unfortunately, we probably haven't been able to research them enough, but to, like, for example, taking maybe like a capsule of CBG or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be, derived from clementine, right? It could be probably like a hemp derived CBG or something like that, and still have a pretty similar effect. One of the things I appreciate about that is the fact that we will research those and we will find out those effects and how they, in mass can help. I just don't think we're there yet. So when it comes to like, doing my own research at home, I like the full effect of the entourage of whatever that strain is giving me, and that's kind of the palette I have to work with. Did you just get that on your camera?
Too close.
That was perfect.
Sticky lens.
I think there's definite medical benefits though to being able to reproduce a capsule that every single time is exactly this mixture of THCV maybe or what, all these other compounds, and it's not going to get you the hot, but it's going to get you the medicinal benefits. And there's people that's where we get widespread adoption from the plant.
Right. Well, widespread adoption in terms of cultivating it.
Like federal and FDA. And,
okay, I gotcha.
Because
geographically widespread.
Yes, and doctors prescribing it, because a doctor they can only prescribe it for certain things. But if we find out this mixture helps with cancer or helps with this, or it's a lot easier to diagnose and distribute. You're not saying, hey, just give your kid a couple of joints or whatever and see if the seizures go away.
What if one of these isolates works like topically, for
right?
Who knows, eczema, for big cancerous growths, for
burns,
rashes,
healing burns,
itches, stings, anything.
Yeah. I mean, for girls,
and that's the problem with
body butter,
that's the
right?
problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's the problem with it not being federally legal, is we don't have the deep access to study this. We don't have the money, the funding. Companies are trying to survive, in a market that's questionably legal because of the states next to you. Don't judge me. And so we're fighting to survive. So spending the money on the extra research as a business it's tough, So
R&D is one of the most expensive things you can get into,
and you have
Absolutely.
you have to hope that there's going to be a return on that investment. It's a long-term. R&D is a very long-term investment without a guaranteed return.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that right now with trying to do pheno hunts and test washes and test presses at work, man. The man hours that have gone into from clone to a production to 100 clone, to 100, plants transplanted, all the way through to flower to processing, and then you get this nasty smelling, stupid, sticky, low yielding crap that you just end up having to throw into food grade, which then makes you have to, start a food gummies or some kind of a
whole new product line.
Yeah.
Diversified.
Got to start finding an outlet for all the different pieces.
Run it down an RSO,
So speaking of that, what do you guys do with your spent material?
Trash.
Like the flour, them?
Yeah. Well, everybody, all three of you, that's
Trash.
Compost.
like I assume.
Yep.
That's kind of one of the differences, right? Is there for girl of yours is probably trash too, right?
Yeah, it goes either way. I mean, you can't really I'm not putting that in my organic compost bin. Put it that way.
One farm I worked at, they made us fucking all our BHO material. They made us dry it out on screens. Like we had layers and layers and layers of screens, and then we reran it for crude.
Oh,
it was so fucking annoying, bro. And
oh
this
my
is
god,
like crazy.
Damn.
Squeezing every
Yeah, I
last
toss
drop.
mine into the chicken coop.
Yeah.
Chickens take care of it.
Yeah, they get all my my leaves and clippings and stuff like that. Yeah.
they go ape shit for those leaves, man.
If anybody watches my Instagram, there was almost every week I have had a couple holes in the backyard, so I would take my spent material and put it in the holes, right? But like I said, I'm working with Westlow Collective, who's a breeder who happens to have seeds in the flour that he gives me to process down. And that's another good question. Remind me is whether anyways. So I took that out of my yard and just put them in the holes to fill in the holes, because of compost and whatnot, and eventually it levels out. I had so many goddamn plants over and over and over again that I just mowed over and mowed over.
That's tight.
It was ridiculous. Dude.
I used to throw it into the Hugo culture, but I kept sprouting little babies. So now I let the chickens take care of the seeds.
Yeah.
The other day, my homie who processes this, like his material, they put all the material in a trash can. This was just like a week ago. Early in the morning, they show up to work, right? And they fucking go to put some more in the trash can. And they open the trash can, and there's a homeless dude in the trash can just knocked out. And it's all butane material. So, and they had to call ambulance and fucking lifeline this dude. He had been in a trash can for like 8-9 hours, passed out, just inhaling butane weed. And like he was like knocked, like done, bro. We haven't got no update. The dude might be done. Like it was pretty crazy.
That's
my homie
insane.
called me like, bro, sending me videos. This dude is just done inside this trash can. Because the homeless here at the legal, I'm sure it happens everywhere, but they just like jump their fences and rob your trash cans and shit. Think they find weed, and some of them do. I'll be honest, some of them do leave with some fucking trimmings and shit, but some people just end up in a trash can with butane and fucking pass out.
So you guys don't have that's not good, man. But you guys don't have a regulation to like destroy it, make it unusable, so to speak, mix it with anything.
No, it just has to be it just has to off gas. They blunt it inside a trash can to off gas. Yeah, and we put it in their trash can, and it's like they jumped the fence.
Yeah.
And then got in the trash can and knocked out. And I was saying this, how scary is it to think if the dude was in there trying to light a cigarette, trying to smoke, bro, it would have been a fucking nuclear explosion. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. All right, let me get another dab. I do got to go get my baby medicine here, but we're going to get a glob for y'all.
I can do one more here.
And I guess I'm fucking gonna be in.
I think I just did one. I can't remember. Did I? I know. I want to pull up these. So You know, everyone's got rosin pens, right? I got. Here we go. There's a rosin pen, right? Everyone's got the rosin pens. It's just decarb rosin. You know, have you made live resin pens yet?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about that process when you're at when you get a moment? I don't know if you got
Okay.
right now.
And we just fucking do the tray tech. You know, you just dump your shit in a tray, let the diamonds form, then we separate the terps, and then we fucking put that shit in pins.
Okay.
And that's just a terp pod, you know, and then it's got hella THC in it too.
Yep. Yeah, it's still like 50% or something like that.
Yep, yeah.
At least.
And those hit fucking that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the flavor's great on it, man. You actually get
Yep.
the flavor of the plant, which is awesome, you know, and I don't know, I've been enjoying them. I haven't found like the perfect cart yet, but you know, I've tried quite a few.
Have you tried Kung Fu carts? Kung Fu
No.
vapes?
No, honestly, I've been working with this company, iCrusher, just because they have a location.
Everyone and their mom.
Yeah, I would assume so. I know they're out in Cali too, but they have a location somewhat local here in Michigan. So it's like it's one of those things where I just go pick them up and I can save a lot because I work with a rep and I go see them face to face. I'm not paying anywhere near MSRP, you know, so it's helpful. But it's kind of like going into a bank, in my opinion. Like actually having a relationship with your banker, and you know, it's valuable.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't. I mean, I've tried a few other like local people that were probably repping Chinese cards or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I just kind of stuck with iCrusher for now.
All right, y'all. Cheers.
Cheers.
Now he's ahead of me. Damn it! I'm trying. I'm trying to whip my shit over. That sounded bad, but I'm trying to whip my shit over here.
At least you're not beating it.
And just keep going. And I think I'm gonna have to forego and just dig in.
Bro.
Oh, this is questionably fresh. That's
all right, y'all. I'm gonna go get my baby some medicine.
Cheers, buddy.
I appreciate everyone, man. You're gonna have to have me back on this bitch, man. I'm gonna let me show you guys what I get from Ego Clash next time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Stay in touch, and we will try to get you on again. He's always fucking fun. He's always fun. Now he's got me high as all hell over here. Now it turns into just pick on Pedro show if you guys want. It's because cheapers. Everybody's asking questions in chat, like whether we were wrecking med. And I think we're both wrecking med, but that I make that I run the processing department.
You're very laser focused on creating a match. There's a lot of moving parts to a commercial business, you know.
Yeah, I have a very good relationship with my grower. A very good relationship, because I definitely want to make sure that I'm walking through the gardens and seeing the plants as they progress, because that just helps me. It helps us do the culling process and whatnot when you're trying to do the R&D to test wash and whatnot.
Is that right at the same facility then for you? Or
yes. Well, we've got two facilities technically, which have multiple bays. I think there's probably 8 to 10 bays in each facility. Well, one facility's got one huge bay, and then the other facility's got about 8 different bays. And when I say a bay, I mean like 100 by 400, 500 something. You know, like a big bay.
Right. That's awesome.
Multiple beds. They are raised, but they're encased, if you will, in wood, very thick. I think I don't know what they use, but it's wood. I don't want to speak for my grower. And yeah, I want to make sure that the plants are specifically the resin, obviously, is something that I can assume is good or not. You know, of course, there's just lots of variables.
There's just such a benefit to
well.
being able to go and see it before.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
Yeah, we all know it.
And we can make wrong calls, but you know, we were talking about wasting our time when you get nothing. You know, I just washed in the room the other day, and I was washing for a grower, and one of them was grapefruit, and the other one was grape something or other, and I just knew that it was grape. Just generally doesn't you know,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
both of them gummed the machines like crazy. I had to take them apart and completely clean them with ISO, you know, in order to run the next load. And it was
Mhm.
just ridiculously horrible. So yeah, getting to go in and feel is the biggest part. Feel the resin, and you can be wrong. You
Yep.
can be wrong. You can feel the grease and get some good rosin, but
That's what's been the fun part for me is all the different cult cuts and different popping seeds and just every plant, feeling it, then washing it. See what it does. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a science experiment every time,
Yeah,
and something that
you
you're
can't do
trying to
that obviously at
repeat,
the
but
commercial level, but at
yeah.
home it's fun. As long as I get something, I'm happy. But
There's also a huge
it,
benefit, I think, to having that relationship with a grower because while they might not want to hear it, it is advisable to get some harvesting tips from your processor. Because while you might harvest, your flour a certain way,
Mhm.
it might need to be harvested for fresh frozen some type of way. And
Right.
you might think you know what that type of way is, and maybe a different processor told you what that is, but a different, this new guy you're working with might think differently. So it's always just good to see, hey, what kind of container do you want it in, and how we getting it there frozen, how much am I bucking off, how far do you
Right.
want it broken down, how tight should I vac seal it, am I vac sealing it,
how are you bucking? You know, we run ours
Yeah.
through a bucking
Oh,
machine, which just sucks it through different size holes. You know, essentially just rips it off,
Mhm.
and that absolutely is a variable in affecting
yeah.
your end
Even
result.
at home here,
Chips.
who I have helped me has been a big deal. You know, I moved up, met some people, longtime growers, helped him harvest, and then he helped me harvest, and that was the last time he helped me harvest. It was just too rough with the plants, like not
Yeah.
used to harvest. They're used to just harvesting and packing for flour. You know, that's what they want. It's different with extracts, and I'm a lot more gentle now, and temperature matters. For me,
Yeah.
I found that if I can smell my plant post harvest, I've screwed something up. So every time I'm messing with my plant until it's rosin, it's under 60 degrees.
That's pretty intense. I like it though.
That's the variable control, you know, just one of the things I've dialed down, and it's just been, it was something I didn't expect. But when it happened, it was very noticeable. Like, why don't I smell my plant? And then
Mhm.
you get the rosin, and you're like, oh, holy shit, that's why I didn't smell my plant.
That's fair.
Something I never did before. Never thought about it 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
other thing, right? Doing a few day dry like Pedro's been doing,
Mhm.
that
I got that
that's
from
a
Pedro.
that's a huge variable. And
Yep.
then if you're maybe you're hanging that up in a 78-degree room because your dehumidifier is just cranking because you got too much in there and
Right.
not enough AC or something, and it's just like, I bet you're gonna smell that room.
That dead
had
on
to-
60 dry is something
Yeah.
else.
I
Yeah.
had to work pretty extensively with the staff, the staff that was going to do the harvesting, the bucking.
Mhm.
It's not always the same, you know, the variables.
At scale, it's rough.
The water content at harvest, you know, the size stem that you're cutting to dry,
Yeah.
to half dry, the thickness of that stem, you know, the size of the buds, the density of the buds, you know, all come into play
Mhm.
into with your whatever words, your humidity and temperature, you know. So I really had to work with them a lot. It's more of a feel. Go up and feel, go up and break a bud, you know, or break a stem, or break a bud
See if it
off,
snaps.
essentially. You know, some of them are the leftover little leaves, you know, from the harvest, the stems. You can break them off. You can tell a little bit by that. You know, there's multiple different ways to test and to see. You can even grab the stalk, the main stalk that you've got hung, and try to bend that and tell a little bit there. With the half dry, Again, it's a variable and it can depend on the plant, but
Well,
it can
that's
be
what-
very beneficial.
with the 60/60, I like that because I can extend out that half dry as long as I need to. Gonna get to
slower
it
is
that
better.
right. Yeah, so it buys me that window. You know, I may only have a couple of hours over the course of 3 days to do a whole room. So I'm not fast at it. I got old hands.
I feel you, man. Sometimes that's just like the
Here we go. We got a
longest part of it.
question here.
Next evolution that gets me super blazed. I think we were talking about a pre-show, and it's not an evolution at all, or maybe it is.
Right.
It's taking tolerance breaks from whatever you're currently doing. And so if you're just a big dab freak like Harry Dabs, our guest tonight, maybe, take a break from dabs and just go smoke some joints or bowls or something, and it will blow your mind.
Take bigger dabs.
Just
You got to do like Pedro and take RSO.
turn up the temp.
Oh man, the caps. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of people who have mentioned the caps and whatnot. And I've had a lot of people around me, family members, who have taken them. Man, that's something else. I think the next thing I should potentially do is mix in some RSO with the rosin. And I really don't know why, but I feel like I should.
Well, have you just tried dabbing it on your rig like that?
No. Every time somebody
Gotta get
talks
a
about
teabagger.
dabbing RSO, my mind immediately goes back to when we dabbed roach terps.
I was gonna
rosin,
say
whatever
roach
the fuck
terps.
it was, with NV
Oh.
with NV Closet Med Grower. I don't know why, but it's about the same. It tastes like ass. I have dabbed RSO before. It'll fuck your banger up real quick. It is not meant to be smoked. It just makes me giggle.
I think at this point we're going to get to where scalability is going to be the limiting factor for everything. I mean, the price can only go so low to where it can't pay for the product. If the market's flooded, at that point, you've got to figure out how do you get bigger and process more. And like you said, there's a giant surplus, and then what's the evolution from there? Who knows if we ever get federal, right? I mean,
what is the point if we've got this much excess to even go federal? Like,
right.
It's not, I don't think it's going to change anything. And maybe that's the long-term game plan, is make it so once it becomes federal, it's just kind of
there. We
yeah,
flood
it's
everybody.
just, the market is benign, if you will. The culture is already established, and no one's excited over it anymore. And it's now just a pack of cigarettes where you're paying probably more in taxes than you are for the tobacco or whatever. I don't know, but
right.
I know Canada state years ago that their intention was to basically drive or eventually set the price because of the way their market is to 10 cents a gram for cannabis.
Damn. I don't know about that. That's crazy.
I think that was their goal or their intention or something along that lines. Maybe I can just Google that real quick for us.
Yeah. That's
Did I miss something?
10 cents a gram in Canada. That's what we were talking
Well,
about.
a goal.
No.
I don't know if I can dab much more.
I'm seeing something.
Yeah, I mean,
briefly
here
about 8
you
cents a
go.
gram.
It's if they can scale the high quality the way we can, at home when you're caring for it. People are doing it at the commercial level, but they're just not everywhere.
It is extremely difficult and requires generally, I mean, I don't even want to say generally, pretty much every time it requires a lot of staff, and a lot of staff that actually cares, that won't cut corners and do different things, so a lot of things a lot of variables, a lot of things got to happen in order to get to that. And
yeah, if you give
it's
two guys
possible, but geez,
If you get 2 guys and say de-leaf 150 plant room, that's gonna take a while. You gotta have the staff, and
I'm talking like the facility that we work with. Like when I look at our master grower, that's what I just call him because I think it's funny.
It is a funny term that you hear in the industry a lot.
he's young, and he manages a lot of freaking beds. It's kind of crazy how much he oversees and then directs, and then the staff then has to carry out.
Just a big pyramid of workers.
I have enough.
Right.
I have a hard enough time with 4 plants back here. They're giving me shit.
Yeah, scalability is a big challenge, especially if you're trying to create a craft product still, because things can get out of, just like small problems can get out of hand quickly at, with your home grow. Big problems can get out of hand very quickly at a big grow, and it can be disastrous.
Costs real money.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the big, when margins are slim,
that's the thing. That's why I believe what's happening right now in Michigan over the last year and a half, maybe or more, and will continue on, I guess, into 2024, is the slimming of the players in the market. I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but it has already happened, and those prices are continuing to drop, and the costs are continuing to rise, and the turnover rate I hear, the stories I hear about a lot of these commercial growers, I've been in a lot of them, but I try to stay away from the bad ones, I guess, and the disasters I've heard, man, it's just like still operating today, and it blows my mind that they're still in business. And it's like, how much more money are these people going to pump into it just to stay afloat, or how razor thin are their margins that they're somehow able to survive the way they're operating?
What it requires is a product that is going to sell for that $70 to $120. I've heard on the out on the gray market, that things of very high quality can go for upwards of 180 for 2 grams. So I mean, that's $90 a freaking gram.
Still way up there.
So if you can produce a product, that can sell like that, and somehow manage costs and labor, it's possible. But we're seeing it here at Eden. It's razor thin.
Well, that's
if you screw up a harvest.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before last week. Just shits and giggles, went to multiple dispensaries last week and hit like their big deal 10 for 100. It was $10 grams, right? Just let's see what it is. And then the higher end, their solventless, their best highest, which was $70 a gram, I want to say. And then going to another place and getting their solventless and getting their cold cure. And then, just a big mix. And I was really surprised. The quality's not bad, even on the cheap shit these days. I expected horrible for $10.
That's the problem is
our market is insane right now.
It starts to become, again, razor thin as to what is extremely high quality, whatever we want to start calling it. I don't know. From a quality that's just fucking fine and great and good, like
the BHO I got was terpy. It tasted good. They were good flavors. The consistency was dead on for us. It really surprising. It was not what I expected. Most of the time up here, you would see.
Were the companies larger?
Yes.
See, that's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
If you can properly scale, then you can produce something at a lower cost because you controlled your costs overall.
Yeah.
That's where it starts becoming hard to compete once you have competitors like that in the market.
It's
you got to step your game up. It starts.
Yeah.
You just gotta step your game up. There's like I was talking earlier with these kids coming up, they're kicking ass, and they've watched us. They have that drive from the fucking get-go. Like when I started doing the videos, I walked in the room, hey, this Pedro's Grow channel, but these kids are coming out like with fucking fire out the gates, and
yeah,
I think it's going to happen more frequently. Companies are going to stabilize more frequently, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of.
I still think there's going to be a market for craft, right? There's always going to. It's always going to be there. It's just going to be small. You're not going to get rich. It's going to be a small area. It's going to be
generally
just kind of like craft beer. It's going to be, your local beer house.
It's gonna be that 1 to 5% of the market, and you're gonna have to be happy with that. I'll be right back, guys.
We actually talked about this prior to the show. Was being able to take what you have produced, even though it might be a failed rosin, production. It may produce something that's good for edibles. It may produce something that's good for rosin carts. Maybe it's just not great doesn't look great on the shelf as a cold cure batter, so throw it into rosin carts. Or if it's absolute shit, you just throw it into the RSO bin. We at Eden, of course, we've been told that we have a just badass RSO because I think we talked about with, I think it was Rackham's a couple weeks ago. I don't remember now. We talked about calling it RSO to calling it FICO, and then to what I consider HECO, if you would, the hash extracted cannabis oil, which is ridiculously strong. The funny story along with that is the employer that I worked with, we get samples and whatnot, and he asked me to tell him whether or not their RSO was any good or not, So right there, I was like, I think I got a capsule, So I pulled out a capsule. I was like, oh, you got it. Just filled up the entire capsule and just took it. And he just kind of looks at me like, did you just do that? And so a couple hours later, I came in kind of like this, and I was like, yeah, this shit works, So it's kind of fun to play around with it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't do edibles yet. I'm not sure RSO would agree with me.
It would, if you can do edibles, RSO would not agree with you.
No. Yeah.
And if you have any kind of a sensitive stomach, RSO is going to be rougher for you, So it comes down to then, having to go through the steps of turning it into rosin and then diluting it, with coconut oil or some kind of a fat, butter, whatever,
mm-hmm.
and eating it that way. However, I still think you're potentially losing some of the benefit from, the RSO.
Right.
And I had a question for Girlie concerning the difference between his food grade and something, but I had lost my thought.
Typically, my food grade isn't fresh frozen. It would just be the trim from my flour and stuff like that, or rosin bags, or just anything not.
So you would run a separate run.
Yes, yeah. It's its own batch.
Okay.
It would not be like a byproduct of what I make. Although I have considered and have done, taken where'd the other jar go? Well, I've showed you both tonight, but the jar of, terps, this is just the last of it. Everything else went into these pens. And then those jar of diamonds, which I showed you on the beginning of the show, you could take the terps and put them into pens or a food grade product for flavoring or something like that, and then take the diamonds and just decarb those and use those as your THCA. The challenge, I think, maybe where you're going with this is like with RSO. If you're decarbing something, you're typically losing most of the terps, and so now, do we really have a full spectrum product? Is it really just a purified, degraded, whatever you want to call it? It's now something else. It's not encapsulating the plant.
If you're just straight decarbing it, we had this talk with Marcus a couple weeks ago as well. If it's in a sealed container and you're just decarbing it, he's actually seen terpenes form on the top of the jar and circulate. So are you really losing them? Of course you're losing some, absolutely. But how much are we really losing at that point?
Right. And I don't know the answer to that. You'd have to do a test, pre and post that process, I guess. But like him, I have also grown, is it stalagmites or stalactites on the tops of my lids of the vessels that I'm using to create sauce in. And that's not because I flipped the jar over, it's because the some terps are evaporating. They're getting up there, obviously with some THCA or something, and I've seen diamonds form on the top with a little terp pool around it, like it was just
carriers
upside down. Yeah. So that was cool to see. It doesn't happen often, but I've seen it before. But yeah, how much are we losing, and are we converting any? Are we converting anything into something else?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see the chemical makeup of them each after the fact, right? Because we know that there's the benefits of RSO, but what does it really do? I don't know. I know what it's supposed to have done, but
right,
plants surprise me more than most other shit in my life. So
right.
back to the food grade that we were talking about when processing with hash, you separate from the same run. So you'll run your premium fresh frozen, and there will be a layer, a screen in which you'll collect the food grade, and or at the end of your washing, there's multiple washes per load of flour. You might load 10,000 grams in, but you'll wash it multiple times, and depending on how much it's dropping, how much hash you're getting out of it, and how delicately you're doing it, variables. At the last one, you can just crank your RPMs up, and give her hell for a lot longer and pull a lot of the rest of the trikes. Of course, you're going to start getting, a lot of plant, not a lot, but more plant material. But that's where the running it through the screens, remediation, would actually catch a lot of that plant material and just release the oil if pressed all correctly.
Yeah, that whole color remediation thing. I got respect for Murphy Murray, assuming that's who actually said that to him.
Absolutely.
She's done a lot of different experiments and put them at the forefront, or at least been the one to put them on the forefront, and had those discussions publicly. Me. Oh, for sure. I mean, she's
absolutely.
In any case, I wouldn't consider that CRC like we're calling what BHO does with CRC, because that's a whole extra step in the closed loop system process, and it's targeting specific things. You can use specific clays or whatever. Oh yeah, you can use different media in that column to target different things, and it's not always just color, guys. The beauty of it, and here's the thing, that whole polishing a turd thing. Like, I hate that we can now do that. But with color remediation, I know it's silly that
it's no longer it's still a turd,
right? Well, that's the thing though, because you're taking things out of it, you're polishing a turd, but yeah, it's still a turd,
a pretty one.
Yeah, it's got a little shine to it. You still want to eat it, I guess.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, and so, oh man, where was I going with that?
Weird. I don't know. That got weird.
Polishing a turd.
Polishing a turd.
Color remediation and the different media you can use in the color remediation column. not only can you target things like chlorophyll or fats, lipids, what, you know, things that might add color to it, but you can also target things like pesticides. And so think about how an RO system works. There's different like media filters that will target different things, whether it be chloramine, arsenic, or, you know, heavy metals, what have you. It's, to my understanding, and I don't know a lot about it, but to my understanding, that's essentially how it works. Is you can use different media to target different things. So maybe a giant batch of outdoor flower you grew came back positive for pyrethrins or something because I don't know, the guy down the street was spraying them or something, right, on his crops, or like some outdoor crops or something. Well, and it blew over onto your outdoor crop, and now your whole crop tested positive for it. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? Well, can you remediate that in some way? I don't know if that's a specific one you can, but that's an example of like remediating a pesticide, taking it out of the end product. Now you have to get it to that, you know, BHL solution and through this color remediation column to do that. But to my understanding, that's possible, which is kind of cool. But again, you're polishing a turd. It's like,
yeah,
wait, you got
I understand
weed,
that they
you know,
can do it, but every time that this type of stuff comes up, I think back to like, if we're shooting for federally legal and we want this to be accepted as medicine, these type of things don't happen with other medicines. So do we really want that to be something that we're pushing? Like, you can't.
Superior, do you honestly think that this becoming that the reason they would federally legalize this would have anything to do with its medical uses? Because right now, just in the state of Michigan, it's just over 1% is the medical market.
Yeah, no, right. No, I'm not saying that that's why it'll be legalized. I want that to be a part of once we are legal.
For sure.
I believe that's where the biggest benefit from the plant's going to come from, is the research into it. But things like the remediation is not going to help later on. They're not going to trust the plant.
Well, that's going to be more helpful, I think, on the scientific and the research end of things, because then I think that's what it's going to take to like isolate, right? And if we want to do research on isolates, the thousands of isolates we can get out of this plant, it's going to take that type of technology. And so maybe that's where we're going with this, is the isolation, because we're going to have so much material. We're not going to know what to do with it.
But if we're getting to that level, is it even going to be the plant anymore? Or are they just going to grow algae?
No, that's an ingredient, and that's what distillate is. Distillate is an ingredient. It's an ingredient that goes in food and unfortunately vape pens, but it is one ingredient. That's really what distillate is, right?
You know, I can see, unfortunately, when we start going federally legal, and especially if we're talking about, like you guys said, the medical market and whatnot, I can see white rooms, clean, you know, fucking flat, even, you know, just
NASA aeroponically grown.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's going to be another challenge when it does go federally legal for all these grows that aren't prepared to throw a shitload of money to retrofit all that wood that they left exposed. He was talking about I think, was it you, Pedro, or him talking about having wood on the beds? That ain't gonna fly when the FDA comes around. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And so they are going to have to be that aerospace type
washable surfaces.
Fully power washable. Like
organic grows are.
That's the scary part, right?
Yeah, they're absolutely, probably, most likely are going to not exist when that takes place.
That's going to be the craft side of things. That's where you're going to get those craft breweries, right? That want to do things with their gluten-free beers and their, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Our wild blueberry beer up here, right?
There you go. Yeah. And I'm sure Traverse City has some sort of sweet cherry beer or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be space for that. Like we said, though, it's going to be that 1, 2, maybe 5% of the overall market. And then everything else is going to be this Walmart of weed, this Budweiser, this Bud Light, this whatever else. It's just boiled down to the basic ingredient, you know,
which is going to satisfy the majority of the population.
95+%, man.
Yeah, like buying a pack of Marlboros.
That's all they want. They want the $5 pack.
Yeah,
connoisseurs like us are going to be the weed or the wine snobs of
right.
I
Maybe
mean,
we could
we're
just start our own
kinda-
sommelier business.
There we go.
If you look at this from perspective, right? Variable. If you look at this from an outside view, like if some of my old, not my old, but my family members back in Wisconsin, you know, they don't know this, they don't see this, you know, they don't even necessarily know what hash is, nor know what rosin is. And when they see me dropping a thing into sucking through this thing, you know,
The giant loud torch.
We're already these fucking playing torch over here. We're already
Right.
the wine snobs, you know. Absolutely.
True.
Yeah, look at how
That's
much
funny.
glass you have.
There was
behind you,
actually an
bro.
article.
I feel like I
There
have
was
the
an
lights
article the
on a
other
little too bright.
about
I giggled about that earlier.
The
Like-
border of the UP over there to Wisconsin and how much that border towns are worth right there. Because
Say that again.
The border of the UP right there by Wisconsin, all those towns, each of their licenses are just worth massive amounts of money, like $40 million a year for these little tiny small towns.
Wow.
Just from tourism across the border.
I think it was on M Live, which
It
you got
sounds
Lifestyle
right.
Pro.
There it is, weed on the border.
Nope, that's not it.
Right up. It's right
Oh,
there
there
at the top.
Yep.
Okay, so what happened when marijuana money came to small UP towns? 15 marijuana shops have opened in the UP along the Wisconsin border since September 2020. The former lumber and mining towns have fewer than 30,000 combined residents, yet money is pouring in, creating jobs and tax revenue. Yeah, I remember this now because I showed this on my story. The last picture made me laugh. And it's going to make Pedro laugh too if you haven't already seen it. There's currently an ongoing legal battle over which and how many businesses should be licensed to sell in Menominee. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Menominee.
Menominee?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, there's a Menominee Falls up there.
Representatives from marijuana shops estimated up to 85% of sales were customers from Wisconsin, where marijuana remains illegal. And it was the same in the Ohio and Indiana borders, too. A nearly 13-mile stretch of US 2 cuts through Wisconsin's Florence County before re-entering Michigan. Florence County patrol deputies have issued an increasing number of marijuana citations each year since 2020. Deputies issued 78 citations that usually cost $263.50 in fines and fees through October 23rd of this year, compared to a total of 4 in 2019 before these shops opened.
Wow.
Oops, no, I went back. Wrong one. Too many arrows.
No, that's funny because the
Here we go. Hold on. Last slide, real quick. Sorry. Locals approved. Despite problems for police in Wisconsin and court wranglings in Michigan, most locals interviewed by MLive appreciate the new shops. Dave Boyle, 78 or 71, sorry, says it brings business here. They stop and have a beer before they go back to Wisconsin or whatever they do.
Perfect UP attitude.
Yeah.
Whatever they do in Wisconsin.
Hey, just drinking some beers, eh? Come on into the bar, eh?
No. That's Minnesota. That's northern Minnesota.
Dude, it's UP.
You went too far.
That's the Upers too.
Dude, no, we didn't. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah, I guess it is the Upers up there too, but the southern border is the same goddamn way. And that's where I'm from. I grew up in a town that's Beloit, Wisconsin. There's also South Beloit, Illinois. So they're right there. It splits the town in half, and it's right there. So when it became legal in Wisconsin or in Illinois, my God, dude, everybody went. And grabbed.
Wow.
That didn't already have a hookup in the gray market.
Right. Yeah. There's, the lawsuits going on over this right now,
For sure.
Yeah. Like it's small UP people that weren't expecting like small councils where the guy used to be like worked at the high school or something. And now he's got this decision in front of him of how many licenses for shops do I let open in my little town?
Yeah, some of them were like, "Oh, we'll have 3. We have like 6,000 residents. I'm pretty sure 3 is plenty." You know what I mean? And then they get a lawsuit from like 3 MSOs that are like, "Nah, bitch, we're coming to play too. You know, this is a high value spot. Sorry."
So now they want everybody in. It's just going to be. We'll see.
I mean,
who laughs?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best thing is here because it's just like it's going to be short lived. You know what I mean? We know it's going to be short lived, but that's what they're trying to do. They're willing to.
Well, Wisconsin just passed a bill to proceed, blah blah blah. However the fuck that happens, but they're about to jump the fence too.
That would be interesting if Wisconsin went legal. What happens then?
Yeah, the last I heard that was about to happen. I had heard that in late October.
Yeah, short-lived, like you said. You know.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll make their money.
Yeah,
so 85% of them are coming from out of state.
Right. I mean,
actually, it'd be interesting to look now that Ohio's legal. What happens on the southern border of Michigan?
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, that happens in other markets too, where people have to.
Yeah, but it'll be a couple of years before Ohio actually like has dispo's up and running and stuff. And plus, are you really going to want to be a dispensary on a Ohio border town? You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna draw in people from Michigan? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you're just like that last stop before you have to cross the border. I guess
it becomes building a bunch of dispensaries and manufacturing on the borders of the last illegal states. You know,
right?
Yeah,
right.
It's like a big game of risk.
Nebraska or Mississippi or whatever.
Yeah. Navigating
might as well make them little
US.
Might as well make them little pop-up stands because they're gonna shut down the minute the other state turns.
And then what happens?
I mean, it becomes flooded at that point in time, so you better just make your money and shut down shops. You can still stay and make money, but you're not going to have as many shops open.
I'm seeing, I should pull them up, but maybe we'll talk about this next time. I'm seeing there's another variable we could have on in terms of hosts, is like someone in the real estate, like a real estate person that works in the cannabis industry or has just experienced it, like the shock of it in the industrial commercial market. Because I mean, I'm seeing some of these buildings, man, like established dispensaries, but they know what's happening. They like trying to get out, even though it's already too late probably for them. Because I'm seeing these places go from like 2.69 million to 2.24 million to 1.89 million to 1.6. You know what I mean? And it's just like no one's buying, not for that much. And the only ones that would be buying at this point are going to be the MSOs. And if they're not already strategically like set up to survive this market, they're, you know,
yeah,
I don't know, there's probably a few
really
that are actually
expanding right now.
Doubt it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know, a lot of this can come down
to
education and more use, more widely, you know, use. And I keep saying variables. It's funny. So the show, you know, different uses. You know, so you can use the plant, but you don't always have to smoke it. Like my mother, actually, I turned her into a dabber from a flower smoker, and then that just was too much and too hard on her. So she just started eating the rosin, the caps that I do, you know. So there's that. I lost my thought.
Yeah, as Grotto says, here in Michigan, corporations are buying up dispensaries. And I think that would be the only thing you'd be scooping up, is just positioning yourself around the state to have the widespread access, you know.
More distribution.
Right.
The different education and the different applications, you know, and you know, the edibles to the topicals and whatnot, and making sure that obviously when legalized, it's wider used than it is now, because we're kind of the wine snobs. We're a niche, you know, so we need education for the potential growth.
Yeah, but where's that coming from? Because like Harry said, it's not the bud tenders.
No, that's unfortunate. Like when we pick up samples at different dispensaries, and I try to visit. I don't visit a heck of a lot, but most every time that I go, it's rough because you see people there that are just there to have a job, so they know where the product is. They kind of know if it's an indica or sativa, they barely know whether it's resin or rosin,
or what the hell that even means.
Or what good call.
One of my first experiences, the bud tender wanted to open each of my jars that were fresh out of the fridge to show the rosin on each one. And I'm like, don't open the jars. Well, why not? You want to see them, right? No, fucking just going to let humidity in, and then I'm going to drive for an hour, and then they're going to sit in the fridge. And
open one of each of them, but I'm not taking the one you open. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I've told them before. One of the things that I've complained to them is like, the minute they pulled one out and they tried opening, I was like, no. And I showed them, to just kind of get it to room temperature enough to where it doesn't condense. And then she put it back up there, and I was like, do you open that one every time? Like, that's the one that's marked? The sample jar, like that's the one we don't sell, and this is the one y'all can see. But because the minute you open it, you're releasing terpenes, you're introducing the possibility for dust or germs or mold.
Like a fancy restaurant, you don't take the cover off till you're at table side,
right?
You
right.
want that first hit of terps to be mine, not
absolutely
freaking bud tender behind a damn counter in a 80-degree fucking shop.
And in a proper container, it can, and in a proper container, in the proper quantity in the container, it can absolutely, I want to say ferment, but it cold cures, and it terpenes separate and they reintroduce. And so yeah, when you open it, it could be boom.
Mm-hmm.
Could be very cool.
Yeah.
Just talking about moving around and doing different things. And
when we do shows, we always pull one out just to put on display as a sample jar so that people can put their nose in it. And yeah, on cold days, it might, terps might not be as loud, but it might kind of last a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Like on those warmer days, it's sitting in the sunshine. It's like, well, those terps are for the sky today, but it also makes it super loud, and everybody walking by the booth can smell them.
Yeah.
But having that visual draw is a key for me, and then putting your nose in it is the next big step. But it's just that one lineup of sample jars, and those get given away at the end of the day because they're not the same. You know what I mean? You leave a jar open 8 hours in the sun, like it's not the same.
Right.
I would agree with you there. Absolutely. Both, and that's true on both sides of the fences here.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Both sides, yeah. It can get not pretty. I've got jars here on the counter that get that way where, man, I was going to show a jar of my diamonds that I made earlier that still had terpenes in them that then they just turned not pretty. They could still be eaten, the decarb and whatnot, so they can still be like eaten. And a lot of these can be then fully decarbed and mixed with coconut oil. And
so eaten, these are, oh God, these are actually lime skunk diamonds. The last ones I showed you were clementine, and these sat open in an oven to decarb at a low temp. And it was at the request of a particular consumer, and it's so loud, man. It's still there.
Really?
It's like lime skunk is so hard.
I was gonna say, can you get rid of lime skunk? Really?
It's like I think the glass has been coated now.
We talked about that before, like certain rosin.
I think you probably could eat those, and those are what diamonds are. It's just the THCA crystallized portion of a run. That was to answer that question.
Well, hey, I think we're about there.
Yeah.
Dude, Harry got me. I'm surprised I could talk as good as I could right there at the end.
kept it together.
Yeah, right.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was a good time, guys.
Yeah, appreciate everybody watching and all the comments and questions and views and thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you find us on those other channels too, whether it's one of our other YouTube channels, Superior Buds, Pedro, or myself, X, Twitch, Instagram. We're all over the place. So come check us out, and we'll see you guys next week, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.